Joining 31 in February of 2010, Tricia shared a sales field record when she promoted from consultant to NED in 3 years and 2 months. That is worth repeating. Tricia promoted from consultant to NED in 3 years and 2 months. Lady, the opportunity is very, very alive. In that time, she managed to build one of the larger sales teams that has already surpassed the $1 million mark. I hear you. Awesome. A woman on many passions, or of many passions, of which Duke basketball, maybe one, I'm not sure. Tricia is high energy. She loves to train, communicate, and motivate her team through really fun, inventive videos and made-up songs, which we're not going to ask her to sing tonight. But if I could rap her entrance, which you probably would not want me to do, I would, but give me a Clayton, North Carolina beat for Tricia Edmundson.
That all of you have heard the story of how Stella got her groove back. I am going to talk to you tonight about how Tricia got her oomph back with a little help from Team Faith and 31. My journey begins, as Andrea said, back in the winter of 2010. I found myself a stay-at-home mama with a 4-year-old and a newborn. I struggled mightily for years to have children, and I felt incredibly blessed to be at a point where I was able to stay home with them instead of returning to teaching full-time. Facebook had recently reconnected me with my old college roommate, and one afternoon she came over to say hello. While we were chatting, she proceeded to dump all of her products on my living room floor. I took a look at it, and I was sold instantly. That night, I looked at the catalog she had left with me, and I pondered the opportunity. I thought, in my head, I said, I'm going to buy all that stuff anyway. I may as well just spend $99 and save some money. I had no grand ambitions at that point in time of becoming a self-made businesswoman. February 2nd, 2010, I took the plunge and made it official. I had no idea on that cold and snowy day that I was making a decision that would impact the rest of my life in so many positive ways and help me get through some of the most difficult years in my adult life. Your mother has cancer. Those are words you never want to hear come out of your daddy's mouth. I recall having to sit on the bed so I would not lose my footing. Daddy assured me it was thyroid cancer, it was easily treatable, and she would make a full recovery. In spite of all that, I was petrified. I had lost 2 grandparents to cancer at a very young age, and I could not bear the thought of losing my mother. The treatment required her to be quarantined for a few days while she took radioactive iodine to kill the cancer. Typically, folks get through this treatment with no side effects. Not so in her case. My mama developed several severe complications from the treatment and had to be admitted to the hospital many different occasions during the spring of 2011. The kids and I made a 2-hour drive several times a week that spring so I could be by her side. Many times on that drive, I found myself thanking the Lord for bringing 31 into my life. You see, if I had not found 31 at the time that I did, I would have been teaching, and I would not have had the flexibility to be with my mama when she needed me most. Sitting in the hospital room and working from my laptop or from my phone while she slept kept me sane and kept me from losing my mind. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Once she started to feel better, I can recall her talking to her nurse about 31, wearing a huge grin. My mama turned to her and told her I was a brand new director and had already earned a trip to Cancun for 2 in only the second earning month of our incentives. Mama's always been my biggest cheerleader, even when you think she had nothing to cheer about. I'm happy to report she's now cancer-free. Fast forward to a beautiful spring day in May of 2012. I was driving along with my family and I was taking my daughter Ashton to school. Ashton and I were happily singing along to Janet Jackson's Escapade when my phone rang. I answered the phone and all I could hear was my daddy's voice and the words, "Kendall is in a coma. You need to come home right now." My brother Kendall had been diagnosed with kidney and bone cancer right before my son Michael was born, and he had fought valiantly for over 2 years. He'd been going downhill recently, the last few months, as the cancer had spread to his brain. 5 minutes ago, it was business as usual, and now cancer was tearing my world apart yet again. Everything after that call is a blur. In the middle of frantically packing, I can remember collapsing on the floor of my closet and calling my senior director, Rachel Embler, and telling her what was going on. She tried her best to comfort me, promised she would tell the team what was going on, and then I hopped in the car, made that 2-hour drive once again, all the while driving through steady tears. When I finally arrived at my brother's house, my other brother, Scott, came out and told me I was 15 minutes too late, and Kendall had already passed. My heart was broken in a million pieces. I had lost my sister, who was also my best friend when I was a freshman in college, and now I had lost my brother. It was an absolutely devastating loss for our entire family, especially my mama, who started out with 4 children and now found herself with only 2. Due to my life experience this time around, I could relate to everyone's pain. My heart ached for my mama because I had kids of my own. It killed me to watch yet another one of my nephews lose a parent way too soon. And I could imagine the pain of my sister-in-law because I knew what it was like to love someone so much you wanted to spend the rest of your life with them. Believe it or not, my brother and my sister-in-law were married exactly 31 years when he passed. Theirs was a true love story. He would straight up tell you it has to be true love for a Duke fan to marry a Carolina fan. And if you're from North Carolina, you get that joke. When Duke and Carolina would play each other, they watched from different rooms. Yet they still found a way to make it work. And I always tell people, if a marriage between a Duke fan and a Carolina fan can survive 31 basketball seasons, that should give all of us hope. That afternoon, I was overwhelmed with texts, voicemails, and messages. I couldn't bear to talk to anyone. But I remember sitting on the porch at my brother's house and listening to a voicemail from my friend Laura Gwynn and just sobbing. She knew the words I needed to hear. And I don't think I've ever told Marta this, but that voicemail is still on my phone. These were folks that I didn't know from Adam 2 years ago. Yet they cared so much for me and about me. Over the next few weeks, I got so many cards, I got packages, I got flowers, deliveries every day, and they were all from my 31 family. The outpouring of love was amazing and so appreciated. After the funeral, and as life started to get back to normal, I found myself at a crossroads. May was an important month for me personally and important for my business. All the pieces were in place that month for me to promote to SED and to achieve the goal I had set for myself because Martine put it in my ear to triple promote to SED. The problem was my get up and go had got up and went. Normally I have at least 4 to 6 parties each month, but that month I found myself with only 2. So of course that made them extra important. And I did not feel like going out and partying. After much soul searching and talking it over with my husband Mike, I realized I needed to do it for more than just me. I needed to do it for my brother. You see, my brother Kendall got 31 from the very beginning. He and I had had so many conversations about my business. Many of these occurred when my mother was in the hospital. And he really understood what I was doing. He had a nickname for everything. It might surprise some of you to know his nickname for me was Bozo, because I do have a tendency to act silly from time to time. He also lovingly called my 31 business my bag empire. And he bragged to his friends about me and what I had accomplished. Several of them sought me out after the funeral to tell me how proud he was of me. Sorry. I owed it to him and to my parents to hold up my end of the bargain. On my way to my party that month, I heard the same song I did on that 2-hour drive after he passed. The Rolling Stones, Get Off of My Cloud. My brother instilled a love of classic rock in me, especially the Rolling Stones. So hearing that song on 2 different occasions right after he passed was like a call to action for me. In the end, I did what I needed to do, and I made my dreams come true. Ultimately, I decided I did not want to fail because of my challenges, but I wanted to triumph in spite of them. During these extremely tough times, 31 gave me something I really needed. An outlet to take my mind off my troubles, and a way to channel my nervous energy in a positive manner. In times of difficulty, you have 3 choices. You can either let it define you, destroy you, or strengthen you. And I chose the latter. Some of you sitting in this room tonight are brand new consultants. Many of you have been with the company for several years. Starting a business is a lot like learning to drive. Whether you just applied for and got your license, or if you're a more seasoned driver, one thing is for sure. Your journey will not always be smooth. You will hit bumps in the road. There will be twists, there will be turns, and you may even make a few wrong turns along the way. Sometimes it might feel like you hit every possible pothole. At some point, you may find yourself at a fork in the road, just as I did. You will be the one that has to decide if you want to take the easy way out and quit, or if you want to take the road less traveled and work for what you want. Always remember on your 31 journey that 31 provides the car, but you are the one behind the wheel making the decisions that will ultimately decide where you end up along this journey. When directors on my team promote, I often remind them of the quote I first heard at National Conference in 2011 from Jan Gilmore. She said, "The speed of the team is determined by the speed of the leader." Don't like where your business is headed, or feel like you've lost your groove? Take a look at your gas pedal and adjust accordingly. Thank you so much. I am honored to be able to stand on this stage tonight and to play a part in the fantastic year that all these girls on my team have had. I'm blessed to be able to be here to recognize them.